Hey everyone, this is Erica and this is a Dream Team production. Have you ever wondered what biological aspects affect your communication and public speaking skills? Well, a study done by Upper Iowa University studied just this. They concluded that your biological sex, your self-esteem, and your apprehension truly do affect your communication and public speaking skills. This is significant because it helps to show and prove that there are other reasons behind your obstacles that you have when it comes to these two subjects. So Carice will be talking about the logic and the theory behind the research that Upper Iowa University did. Rudy will be talking about how exactly they did their research, and Leslie will be talking about their hypothesis and what the research showed and how exactly this research proves that these aspects affect you. And at the end, Janet will just summarize up our speech and our thesis. I hope you enjoy.
Why the authors did their research, the authors would like to have insights on the effect of biological sex, self-esteem, and communication apprehension in the sense of reward, positive feeling, and approach avoidance, avoiding other people, to unwillingness to communicate. Also how those three factors impact the identity theory and social interactionism. Now, identity theory and social interactionism goes hand in hand. The identity theory expresses that our behavior is based on self and the environment, the people that the person is surrounded with, while social interactionism correlates with identity theory by concluding that we develop ourselves through interacting with other people. Now, biological sex, self-esteem, and communication apprehension are all connected and relates to a person's unwillingness to communicate. The biological sex of an individual affects his or her self-esteem, according to Chobel, Furman, and Ross, who stated that female have lower self-esteem than male who are in their high school years. Now, communication apprehension, which is the level of anxiety or fear a person feels when communicating with other people, relates to self-esteem, because the lower the self-esteem is, the higher the communication apprehension. Now, if you think about it, it's like an addition problem. Biological sex plus self-esteem plus communication apprehension equals to a person's unwillingness or willingness to communicate with others. Now, Rudy will be discussing about the research that was done.
So the researchers from the Department of Communications in Upper Iowa developed their own surveys and research and went to two local universities, one larger and one smaller. At the larger university, they gave the survey out to 13 courses, while at the smaller university, they had given out to 25. And at both universities, these were general public speaking courses, so people not well into their master's and higher credential programs for public speaking. And at both universities, they gave out the surveys to female and male students and freshmen, sophomores, juniors, and seniors. And in total, they used about 655 students for their survey. And now they took their research and they were able to compare it to similar studies and surveys given to people with low education, and also were able to compare the same stats to people in politics. Now Leslie will be able to explain exactly what those surveys and the results mean. Leslie?
As a result, the authors concluded that reward dimensions was mostly affected by your biological sex, meaning gender, and your self-esteem. But according to Watman and Watson 2001. In the second hypothesis, the authors concluded that people who tried to avoid communication were mostly held back by their biological sex, meaning gender, and their communication fears, according to McCroskey 1997. Of course, both hypotheses had different conclusions. The first conclusion was that the self-esteem affected at a 10% rate for reward dimensions, while biological sex affected at a 6%. This showed that women with higher self-esteem were most likely to find communication rewarding than men, according to Hodson 2000. In the second hypothesis, they concluded that people were likely to avoid communication based on their sex by a 2% rate, and based on their communication fears out of 49%. This concluded that women were most likely to have communication encounters rather than men, according to Pearson Child 2008. The interesting fact we found was that people with higher education were most likely to avoid communication occasions, while people with lower communication skills, lower education, were most likely to have communication encounters. Now Janet will sum it up for us.
The researchers from Upper Iowa University came into conclusion that self-esteem, biological sex, communication, apprehension have a direct correlation when it comes to your communication and public speaking skills. So the next time that you feel embarrassed because you stuttered in front of somebody or you felt that you didn't communicate with somebody the right way, don't take it to heart and calm down because it's a natural effect.